Call this meeting to order. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is public input. I'll remind you, you'll have 5 minutes. If you keep an eye up here, I'll try to give you a 1-minute warning. Otherwise, my phone usually makes a lot of noise. First on the list is Avery Jepson Brown.
Members of the council, members of the council, Mayor Moronis, thank you all for, there we go. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to give public comment tonight. I'm here to talk about the PNM Power Replacement Plan and how it will have significant environmental impacts. But this process here allows us to have an opportunity to do much better than what PNM has proposed. If we were to close down all 4 plants at San Juan Generating Station, instead of just the 2 proposed, not only would we save ratepayers, your constituents, a significant amount of money, but we could have a much more environmentally friendly outcome than what PNM is pushing. For example, shutting down all 4 plants would save an additional amount of water that is roughly equivalent to 6 or 7 times the amount of water that the town of Silver City and outlying areas use annually. That's 6 to 7 times the amount of water than our entire town. This town council has taken significant steps towards saving a much, much smaller amount of water with the scheduled installation of smart meters, and yet the council has thus far remained silent on a much more impactful issue. Other environmental benefits to a plan heavier in wind and solar would be reduced carbon dioxide emissions, reduced nitrogen oxides, particulates, mercury, other heavy metals, reduce nuclear waste, reduce global climate impacts, reduce impacts acidifying our oceans, reduce mining waste and coal ash, and the list goes on and on. In other words, improving environmental and human health. Closing down 4 units of SJGS, or the San Juan Generating Station, would have an effect on jobs, but there would not be a loss in jobs so much as a change in the sorts of employment opportunities available. Right now, there are twice as many jobs in the solar industry as there are in the coal industry in both New Mexico and the U.S. Furthermore, if we look at PNM's Palo Verde 3 bad investment, it would produce 0 New Mexico jobs. If we replace power with renewables, we could build them here in New Mexico, creating New Mexican jobs. We will present a draft resolution for your consideration. The next council meeting may be your last opportunity to weigh in on this important issue. It may be your last opportunity to tell Commissioner Sandy Jones that we want a better plan, or at a minimum that we want a transparent and objective process in order to determine what is actually in the best interests of New Mexico. If the town council were to pass this resolution, that will have an effect upon our PRC commissioner, and I believe you all know that. I believe he has been feeling the heat from his constituents and was relieved by what he perceived as the cover that the supplemental stipulation compromise provided for him. But once again, it has been revealed that this compromise was reached based on fictitious information provided by PNM. We deserve better. Please let your voices be heard, sticking up for transparency, sticking up for our environment, sticking up for our democracy, and sticking up for our electricity rates, our economic interests. Thank you. My name is Avery Jepson Brown.
Thank you. Next is Nancy Cliff on the CDT.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Cliff. This is my sign. Here before you for our last request to everyone to vote for the Continental Divide Trail at this website, superiortrails.michelobultra.com. Before I left my house, the vote was Wisconsin had 47,100, the Continental Divide had 45,600, and the Florida Trail had 43,400. 2 $25,000 prizes are being awarded to the top 2 vote getters. Now, it seems to me that I've advertised this a lot, but there are still some people who don't know about this. So I'm hoping that everyone who hears this will vote at this website every day until the end of the month. That means today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 5 more days, because then it would be a Halloween treat. The Continental Divide Trail Coalition in Colorado will administer the funds, which will serve as leverage for an equal amount of federal funds. Likewise, the volunteer hours that will come out of the work associated with these funds will be leveraged and doubled. So, I have heard lots of people enthusiastic about this, lots of civic pride, and I encourage that. So, it will certainly benefit the community in positive ways for years to come. Please vote, everyone. All family members over 21, all residents of wherever. I had my sign at the Fine Arts Center on Friday, and people said, "I'm not a citizen." I said, "Oh, that doesn't matter." Just vote at this website. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Next is Janet Wallet Ortiz, P&M.
Members of the council, Mayor Morones, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Members of our community have come before the council on various occasions to make sure that all of you are aware of the importance of the San Juan Generating Station power replacement case. In past council meetings and in public hearings the PRC has held, people have mentioned the negative environmental impact that this decision will have, but our council did not weigh in. Concerned citizens have also cited the P&M's plans will increase our electricity rates, and still, you have not weighed in. It has also been pointed out that P&M's plan will have negative health effects on citizens in New Mexico communities. Still, you have not weighed in. P&M's management has not been honest with key points and figures in this planning process. They have tried to hide billions of dollars in costs. They have put unfair constraints on the amount of wind power that the strategist modeling program could choose, and they have claimed unrealistically high costs for wind and solar power in the modeling program. Furthermore, they have manipulated the inputs for the valuations of Palo Verde 3 and stranded asset recovery in order to make P&M's preferred plan appear to be more cost-effective than other alternatives. Tonight, I'm here to update you on the newest outrageous revelations in this case. In September testimony, it was revealed that P&M's management had manipulated the data in at least 2 more very significant ways, and either one dwarfs the deceptions previously uncovered. One new revelation is that P&M had input and expected 20% growth in electricity demand into strategist models. Apparently, they did this to justify the need to acquire additional electric generation sources for New Mexico customers. Acquiring additional electric generation sources through Palo Verde Nuclear and San Juan coal plants would also enable P&M's management to unload their toxic assets upon us, their New Mexico customers. This would turn shareholders' liabilities into profits, and we ratepayers will be left with additional liabilities. Simultaneously, in a different case, that is the current P&M rate case that is in front of the very same New Mexico PRC, P&M has cited flat or declining demand as a reason that they are going to increase our rates. Flat or declining demand is being experienced by electricity providers across the nation, primarily as a result of improved energy efficiency. So the latter of P&M's contradictory statements is the more believable scenario. This 20% contradiction is so large that if the figures P&M presented in the rate case are correct, P&M's New Mexico customers don't need to add the dirty and dangerous coal and nuclear power to our energy portfolio. Another jaw-dropping recent discovery is that the rate increase associated with the new supplemental stipulation will actually be 7.5 times higher in the year 2018 than P&M stated to the signatories of that agreement while forging the deal. The actual rate impacting New Mexico customers over time will be $2.3 billion more than P&M had previously disclosed. How did this drastic underestimate of our rates occur? Instead of using our current rates as the baseline in their comparison, P&M used a fictitious baseline derived from the federal implementation plan. This plan had been considered years ago but was never finalized. P&M's deceptions have been so egregious in these cases that it really makes one wonder, has there been any oversight in the past on P&M's proposals? What other deceptions have gone unnoticed? The more evidence that is uncovered, the less surprising it is that P&M's rates are the highest in the region and only going higher. So those of us who are stunned by the magnitude of the latest deceptions are wondering if this council will ever speak up and send a strong message and opinion to Sandy Jones, the entire PRC, and New Mexico's Attorney General. You could adopt a resolution at your first November council meeting, making it clear that all ratepayers, businesses, citizens, and government entities alike deserve transparency, honesty, and the most affordable power available today, which, fortunately for us, is clean, renewable, good old southwestern wind and solar power. Please don't be afraid to stand up for the truth. Thank you.
And last is Harry Brown.
Mayor Moronis, members of the council, my name is Harry Brown. I live on Cooper Street in Councilor Ray's district. Thank you very much for the opportunity to provide input on a small way in which we can all address the overwhelming problem of global climate change. The long march to a restabilized climate will only succeed if we take a great many steps like this one. I would like to read you a draft resolution regarding P&M's proposals to the PRC that you've just heard about. The city attorney has reviewed this draft, and all of the suggestions he made have been incorporated. No other changes have been made since his review. I understand none of the council members have yet sponsored this or any other resolution regarding the PRC's consideration of P&M's proposals. There is time, as has been said, for any of you to adopt it, make any changes you see fit, consult again with the city attorney, and get on the agenda for the next city council meeting. However, there is no extra time. The next council meeting may be the last opportunity for you to weigh in on this important case before it is decided. One last note before I read the draft. Obviously, reasonable people can disagree about this case. The town council may well make a considered decision not to use its voice, our voice, to influence the PRC. But if that is to be the outcome, we deserve a full discussion of the issues, and we deserve to understand the basis for your decision. To ignore the question by failing to sponsor and debate this resolution is to fail in your duty to represent us, your constituents, in this case of obvious public interest. And now the draft resolution for your consideration. Request to the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission, PRC, to engage in a transparent, prudent, and thorough analysis prior to making resource decisions in New Mexico PRC dockets numbers 13-00390-UT and 15-00261-UT. And henceforth, I will omit those unwieldy numbers and just refer to the dockets. Whereas, the decisions in these dockets will affect the electricity rates and health and well-being of the residents and the businesses within the town of Silver City and much of New Mexico. And whereas nuclear power generation is water-intensive and creates radioactive pollution and health hazards throughout the fuel cycle, from the mining phase to the storage and disposal of spent fuels and other wastes. And whereas the town council finds that the production of power from burning coal is water-intensive and heavily polluting, which threatens human health as well as global climate. And whereas the town council has been informed that an in-depth, all-resource analysis, such as an all-resource request for proposal, or RFP, process that would compare various potential replacement power options in a consistent and comparable basis, has not been issued in New Mexico PRC dockets at hand. And whereas the town council has been informed that only limited resources have been allocated to and by the Office of the Attorney General with regard to its participation in the aforementioned dockets and its undertaking to protect the interests of the citizens of the state. Therefore, be it resolved that the governing body of the town of Silver City urges the PRC to require a thorough evaluation of potential replacement power resource options, including but not limited to renewable energy options such as wind and solar resources, on a consistent and comparable basis, to be incorporated in PNM's power generation mix to the greatest extent technically feasible as determined by an independent evaluator. Be it further resolved that the governing body of the town of Silver City urges the PRC to require PNM to issue and receive qualifying responses to an all-resource RFP prior to making a decision in these dockets, and that renewables are given preference, if cost competitive, in order to ensure that the public's best interests are served. Be it further resolved that the Office of the New Mexico Attorney General is urged to be a stronger advocate for the residents of New Mexico by providing adequate resources in order to ensure that PNM submits thorough and truthful information to the New Mexico PRC, and that all processes managed by the PRC are open, fair, and properly supported by substantial evidence. And last, be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to forward a copy of this resolution to each PRC commissioner, its general counsel, and to the Attorney General's office of the state of New Mexico, and that a copy of this resolution be incorporated into the public comment portion of the record in the two aforementioned dockets or their successor dockets. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is council comments. Councilor Cano?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I would just like to thank every person in town who's been giving me good thoughts and prayers since my surgery. My surgery was 12 days ago. It was a very extensive surgery, and I probably shouldn't already be back to doing things, but I'm doing it anyway. So for those of you that have been respectful of the fact that I'm trying to heal a little bit, I also appreciate that. I just have a couple of announcements of things that are going on this week that are pretty special, so hopefully some of you will attend. First of all, on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Parodi Recital Hall, the Jazz Ensemble of WNMU will be performing. It's a free concert, and they're usually pretty good, so hopefully some of you will make it out. And then on Monday, which is the actual Dia de los Muertos, the Chicano community will be celebrating Dia de los Muertos at Miller Library at 6:30 p.m. The Art Club, the Music Department, Miller Library, and a few other organizations have joined together to provide a space for an ofrenda. The mariachi from WNMU will be playing, as well as possibly one from El Paso, and there will be a free meal afterwards, so please come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I am going to ask Mr. Brown to see if he can get ahead with meeting with Mr. Chief Reynolds and see if there's a possibility to have 2 policemen in a cop car patrolling, simply because of the things that have been happening around. And Albuquerque. It might not happen here, but it's a good thing to take a study. Also, the traffic on Broadway is still going too fast. It is going very, very fast through there. That's all. Thank you.
Councilor Amon-Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to echo that there's too much traffic on Broadway. That was on my list also. Thank you, Councilor Ray. And I just want to say that the end of October is a time for reflection and a time for celebrating our ancestors. But on Halloween night itself, when you have taken the kids out trunk or treating, bring them to the dance with the Big Ditch Crickets and let them dance the sugar off. That will be a dance between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at the Murray, and it really is a community event. And I understand that there are wonderful events happening at the university for Dia de los Muertos, as well as some events downtown. And I just really want to encourage everyone to participate in these communities.
Councilor Benson?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo, it was on my list as well, Councilor Ray and Councilwoman Smith about the traffic on Broadway going far too fast. I've witnessed a number of times folks gunning it to make the light. If it's red, if it's already yellow, stop, because it's going to be red pretty soon. It's just something that, because I've seen them blast through the red lights, which is difficult when we have pedestrians. I also wanted to encourage pedestrians to please use the crosswalks on the major highways, on Hudson or Highway 90, and also on 180. I'm concerned about safety. I know that those folks probably aren't going to be listening to this and aren't in the room, but dashing across when there's a whole lots of traffic on Silver Heights Boulevard or Highway 180, people cannot see you when you're doing that. You're not in a crosswalk and traffic isn't stopped. Likewise, I'm encouraging drivers throughout the town to please use the posted speed limit, whether you're on Broadway or Bullard or out on Silver Heights Boulevard or on Hudson. I know people have places to go, but let's just not determine what we think the speed limit should be, whether it's slower than the posted limit or whether it is faster than the posted limit. I've seen a few almost collisions just because of folks kind of tailgating. So, and I think that we can all learn from the recent road rage incident in Albuquerque and just take our time, make sure we'll get there, but tailgating someone and cutting people off is not necessarily the way to do it and could create an incident in our community that we don't want to have happen. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Brown for meeting with one of the constituents in my area to alleviate some of their concerns about some property that had been years ago purchased by the city, so transferred to. So I just want to publicly say thank you, and I know that we'll make sure that she's well aware of what we know about that property and the decisions and what we're doing about it. So thanks to staff, and thanks to you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. At this point, I don't have any comments, but does anybody need a round two? Councilor Kano?
Just so many people are aware, I know my posture is a little strange this evening. For the foreseeable future, I will have to have my leg up, and that's why I don't stand up for the pledge, and I am shaped differently than everyone else. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor. Anybody else? Moving on to approval of minutes.
Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
Councilor Amos Smith?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting from October 13th, 2015.
Councilor Bedison?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from October 13th, 2015. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I didn't see anything. Next item on the agenda under reports is the first quarter report for tourism by Lee Gruber, Silver City Arts and Cultural District.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Town Council members. I don't know. I've never been, oh, there you go. Is this better? Yeah, forgive my voice. This allergy season is quite something. I want to begin by recognizing two people who are in the room tonight and who play a large role in arts, culture, and tourism for this community. One is Rebecca Martin, who is in charge of the Visitor Center, and I don't know if you've had a chance to drop by, but she is literally Miss Silver City, with enthusiasm and joy for this community expressed over and over again during the day. And the Visitor Center has become a hub of community activity It's really lovely to see. The other person I would like to recognize is a new person who's come on board, Amber Rubottom, and she is serving as a project coordinator for different projects for arts, culture, and tourism. So welcome and thank you to the two of them. I also want to say that I've been serving as interim director for the Arts and Cultural District Tourism, and I am proud to announce that we have offered a contract to a new executive director, and she has accepted. Her name is Cynthia Spray. She was the Arts, Cultural, Tourism Director in Taos for 5 years. She is a remarkable human being, full of not only enthusiasm, but bright, bilingual, has lived in Taos for 35 years, knows our state, knows legislators, knows the governor. No matter your politics, it's not a bad thing to be able to meet with the governor. I'm not exactly sure when she'll be coming on board, but certainly within the month. And I truly look forward to that. You all have a copy of this first quarter report, and so I won't take your time going through every item. I do want to mention that True West magazine is going to feature Silver City in the month of March. And we will be featured as a true Western town. We're looking forward to the journalist who has called and will be coming here to write the story and to participate in activities here in Silver City. So that's for the month of March. We have continued to run full and half-page ads in Sunset Magazine, True West, Edible Baja, Arizona, Zocalo, and New Mexico Magazine. We are also shown the Gila Cliff dwelling. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see this in Tucson, but the side of the Tucson streetcar is the Gila Cliff dwelling, and it's wonderful. And the number of people who have come into Syzygy and said to me that they were coming here from Tucson and they had noticed that signage, and I think that's pretty cool. And that will continue on in concert with Grant County Tourism for the rest of the year. I also want to say that the New Mexico Department of Transportation grant that will allow for wayfaring signage for trails, will allow for a kiosk at the visitor center, and maps so that people can find our trails more easily. Those contracts, I understand, are being mailed out in the month of November and December, so we'll be looking forward to that. And let's see, just want to make sure that I've covered our visitor center. Visitation is up 32%. And it's just, again, the numbers. I think what we're seeing is regional advertising at work. And just more than a year, close to 2 years of regional advertising reaching out to El Paso, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Tucson, and Phoenix, and we're seeing the results of that. So thank you very much. I'm going to a Creative Communities Conference next week, whereby Arts and Culture District tourism people gather together to talk about arts and culture and tourism. So I look forward to that. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Is there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the Silver City Main Street Quarterly Report. Lucy?
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council, staff, and community members. I'm Lucy Whitmarsh, and I'm the executive director of the Silver City Main Street. One of the things that we do, because we're administered by the New Mexico Main Street, is that we report also on a quarterly basis to the New Mexico Main Street, and those statistics are gathered statewide and reported by New Mexico Main Street, which is part of the Economic Development Department, and it's focusing on business, job creation, and contributions in the to historic preservation and renovations in the historic district. So we reported for the July to September period of the businesses that opened were 4, and the businesses that closed were 3. There was 1 building purchased. Then there was also some renovation done from the permitting process. I identified $96,000 that was spent on permitted work that was done in the district during the time period. Then one of the other things they're interested in statewide, and that we're interested in the community, are the events that Main Street works on. And during the quarter, we worked on the Downtown Bash in partnership with Western New Mexico University, and it was the 4th year that we had done that, to try to bring the university students downtown to shop and to visit the businesses and to become part of our community. We also had the Taste of Downtown and Restaurant Week, and that, of course, is in partnership with the Downtown Eateries. And we really enjoyed highlighting our diverse food culture that we have in our downtown, which is an attraction in itself. Then also, we were very fortunate to have a historic marker installed at the Visitor Center, and it was in honor of Anita Scott Coleman. So, in partnership with the Silver City Arts and Culture District and the Silver City Museum and Western New Mexico University, we had a public dedication ceremony for that, and that was attended by a large number of members of Anita Scott Coleman's family, and they were very appreciative of the honor that's been given to their ancestor. We also report our volunteer hours that our volunteers for Main Street work on, and in this quarter it was 243. And then we also have, because we are affiliated with the New Mexico Main Street, they conduct a annual evaluation of our program, and we are very pleased that our program is accredited by New Mexico Main Street again this year, and Silver City Main Street is also being recommended for accreditation by the National Main Street Program, so we're very honored to have actually survived that evaluation. One of the other things I did want to mention is the so-called theater construction update, because that's one of our major economic development initiatives that Silver City Main Street is working on. And the construction contractor plans to have the building renovation completed by the end of November. But in addition to that remodel or renovation, the Silver City Main Street is also responsible for theater seats, projection, and sound and screen. And we do have contracts in place for those installations, and we have the installation scheduled after the construction is completed, because that's not actually part of the construction contract. And that is scheduled for mid-December. So we're very, very hopeful that we're coming to closure with this stage of this renovation project. And then I also did want to talk just a little bit about, from not on this report, but that On November 28th at 7 o'clock, we have our Lighted Christmas Parade, and it is a wonderful community event. It's a great way to showcase your business if you could be in the parade, and showcase what you have as a business, and it's also a great opportunity for visitors in the community to come out and participate in this parade. And it's wonderful for our downtown businesses because it gives us so much exposure and gives us so many people coming to the parade, and it's our 25th. So I did put some applications on the desk in the back. If anybody could sign up to be in the parade, it would be great. And do you have any questions?
I don't have a question about what you reported, but I guess I have a request. So the sign that we got from the state Main Street that was put up, first of all, it's falling down, and second of all, you can't see it anymore because of the Anita Scott Coleman installation. So if there's a way it can be moved somewhere else, I think that would be really helpful.
Make that request.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Lucy? Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Under staff reports, are we gonna?
Eileen is going to do a report on the community survey.
Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors, staff, and community. I'd like to start by thanking all of the community members who took our survey in the early spring into the summer, and also to Renee Dupre, who is a consultant with the nonprofit resource group, who has really provided the assistance for the survey and a lot of the analysis of the data and writing of our full report. The report, if you're really interested in all the details, will be available on the library blog tomorrow, and we'll keep it up there for quite some time. So if you're interested in going in and taking a look at that full report, please visit our library blog. The survey was done in response to changes that are happening across the nation and in our community in terms of libraries, the types of services we're offering, and the need to really address different ideas and concerns about what libraries are currently in our community. The survey will provide us with a lot of information and data to guide our development in the future in terms of our services. Some basic information about the survey: we had over 700 people respond, which I think is really quite wonderful to have that type of response. There's a breakdown. You can see what the ages were and gender of the respondents, as well as general educational levels. I'd like to summarize some of the key findings. I think the major thing to keep in mind is what we did find out is that the library is a critically important community resource. Many people commented about how important the library is to them in their day-to-day lives. The respondents were highly satisfied with the library staff, although many people commented that they would like to see additional staff at the library. The other comment that came up several times in the qualitative part of the data was that people were commenting that they would consider leaving the community if a strong library were not available. So what we have found is that it is a central part of the community and is an essential public service. Some other, I think I went back too far. Okay. I'm out of order here, sorry. Another thing that we found in the survey is that 28% of the patrons who were responding came from outside the town of Silver City, from within Grant County. I think this number is significant. It's also very much in line with what we have found out from our patron database over time in terms of analyzing where our patrons are coming from in general. I think what this is showing is that we not only serve the town of Silver City, but we also provide very essential services to the county. The other thing that was interesting to me is that 20% travel over an hour to get to the library. Many people did comment on that they would use the library more frequently if they lived closer. I think this provides us with some ideas and opportunities for expanding our services through electronic and online sources. In terms of the specific services that people would like to see, we know that the traditional services are still very valued. Books are still very important to the library. People also want expanded programming and additional technological resources. The library is used frequently by older adults, but it's also perceived as a key educational resource for children. The area that I think we could really look at as an opportunity for growth is reaching younger adults, they're working age adults. Many of them don't see the library as pertinent, or they may just have simply difficulty getting to the library because of very busy work schedules and their lives. We're looking at ways that we might be able, again, to reach this particular demographic through some of the online resources that we may provide and other types of programming that would reach them. Another key finding is that many people in the community were unaware of some of the online resources that we do provide to our citizens. These are things like the online databases through the state library, things like the Children's Auto Repair Guides, newspapers and magazines, online databases, and services like BrainFuse, which is an online tutoring program. We have found that there are different ways that respondents are using technology, both at home to access library collections, as well as in the library. Some of the key findings that I would really like to highlight are that what we were hearing is people would like expanded evening and weekend hours. They would like more adult programming, especially the concerts, book discussion groups, and speakers. Children's programming is very highly valued, especially the summer reading program and our Lego Club. They would like to have technical assistance and computer digital literacy training. They would like to see that type of training that we are offering continued. Another one that came up was online and on-site language learning at the library, online education, and on-site tutoring. In terms of what were ranked highest for programming, educational and cultural programs were very high on the list, concerts, and again, the children's activities, crafts, summer programs. In terms of collections, areas that people would like to see strengthened are the general nonfiction area, fiction, and then you can kind of see the list here of a number of other types of resources that they would also like to see developed. And I think another key finding was finding that there were concerns about physical access to the library and to its resources. And this is sometimes physical facility, just the ability to get around in our building, navigating stairs, some of the other physical barriers to the building, but also barriers in terms of the types of formats and materials that we have available, whether this is vision or other types of concerns that people have with access. And I'd like to just summarize our recommendations, and that we would like to continue to expand services and programming, and continue to develop our collections in the areas that people have indicated they have a high interest in. I think it's also very important to ensure that people with disabilities have access to the building and our resources. I think it's important to assess and respond to the human resources that we have at the library and really look and see how well those match the actual services and programs that the community wants. and developing a resource plan to make sure that we have the adequate finances available to really meet the needs of the community and these programs. One of the recommendations that has been made is to develop and strengthen the relationship between the town of Silver City and the larger community of Grant County to really collaborate to secure sources of funding and resources for the library. And then the last item here is really looking at how we can continue to provide outreach and marketing to increase the awareness of our online resources and our general services in the community. And this is the address of the full report, which will be available tomorrow and for several weeks thereafter on the library blog. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Councilor Edison?
Just a brief question. The Silver City Public Library is going to be putting in a request under the upcoming 2016 GEO bond for libraries, which includes municipal libraries. Are we going to do that?
We don't actually put in individual requests. It's a legislative initiative that goes through as legislation, and then there's a funding formula through the state library that all eligible libraries get a portion of that funding if it is approved through the legislature. And we have met all the criteria that we need to be eligible for that funding. We put in a comprehensive annual report each year to the state library, and that was submitted in August, and there have been no issues with that. That should go through with no problem.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Any other questions?
Thanks. Any other staff reports?
Mayor and Council, I just wanted to follow up on a few things. The pickleball lines, we haven't forgot about them. James reminded me. So I asked Peter, and they're scheduled to be painted on the second week of November. Okay. Secondly, every year I do go through periodically and review the budget to ensure that our town resources are distributed in the most efficient manner possible. So I've been going through each of the departments and working with the department heads and to identifying what their needs are and if they need as much funds as they have or if they need more. And as of right now, normally, under normal circumstances, if there's changes within a fund, sort of like the water sewer fund, the general fund, I can make those changes administratively, but I may have to bring some recommended changes to you, and I might bring those in the first meeting in December, if I need to do them. But I just wanted to give you the heads up, moving some funds from one department to another department, so that they're used in the most efficient way possible. Okay, so I just want to let you know of that.
Any questions? Councilor Edison?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Brown, are we on track to go forward with that new system that we've been talking about? Well, actually getting the trash cans, well, not trash cans, but recycle cans, and then having the side loader, or however we're going to do that?
Yes, staff has already been meeting and talking about that with the landfill. I've already talked to the Solid Waste Authority Board about what would be required. Basically, what we would do is decrease our recycling contract by enough money to pay for the debt service for the equipment and everything. So our only increase in expenditures would be the salary of the additional driver. So, I don't want to impact us or them, but do it more efficiently. I haven't gone full-blown working on it hard yet until I'm done with the re-permitting of the landfill. The hearing is on the 5th of November. So I had to go last week and meet with the engineers and the attorneys. I have to go back Monday and meet with the Solid Waste Bureau and everything. So once that's done, I'm going to start working on that. And I think we've got a pretty good idea of how exactly we're going to work on it. And actually, that's part of the recommendations that we've already made to the Solid Waste Bureau of getting the Solid Waste Authority out of its difficulties right now. So it's been recommended to Solid Waste Bureau. We don't have to do any permitting or any changes. We've already got all of that because of our garbage collection system. So it's basically all about just getting the equipment. We've already got the employees that know the routes. We'll be following the same routes because they follow our routes right now. So it's just about getting the trucks and the containers.
Thank you, because I think one of the concerns is with all the weather we've been having is, you put out your recyclables in an open container, and sooner or later the recyclables are no longer in the container, but all over everyone's yard. So I think it just kind of goes with what we're trying to do in reducing the amount of litter in town, and I'm glad that we're getting close to hopefully implementing it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you project maybe spring?
I'm projecting probably the beginning of next fiscal year.
Okay, great.
Because we've got to issue the debt.
Right.
We've got to, and then it takes around 120 days to get the equipment. And then to distribute it, we're going to, basically, what we're going to do first, what we're looking at doing first, is just distributing the containers that we purchase to the individuals that currently recycle. And then phase in trying to get more people, figure out incentives to push people to recycle more. And we might have to look at rate structure, and the more you're going to throw in the landfill, the more we're going to charge you, and the more you recycle, we'll focus a little bit on our tiered system as we have it right now. But I don't want to penalize families because you got a bigger container. I mean, so that part of it is still in the works. But, we might just start with education a little bit more, starting in the schools, and put a little bit more of an education budget up front to see how that works. And then if necessary, look at rate. It worked with the water. So,
well, thank you.
Okay.
That's right. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Brown, may I ask you to ask Chief Reynolds for a staff report on gang activity, if possible?
Yes, I'll have him do that at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any other staff reports? Community development? Nothing? Nothing down there? All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda, if I can get organized real quick, is a public hearing entitled Approval Disapproval of a Restaurant Liquor License with Patio Service, application number 969520, applicant name 3B's Food Inc., doing business as Burgers and Brownies and Beers Oh My. Proposed location 619 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico 88061, and a waiver of NMSA 1978 section 60-6B-10 for alcohol sales near a church or school. The town council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of this hearing board had ex parte discussions with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communications from any party to this case?
No, sir.
You are all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise and come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
You signed up, right? Are you Becky? I'm Becky. I'm Therese. Therese? Okay.
And Roy.
So we're all good. Okay. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Shepard M. Barnhart,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
in the matter before this council
in the manner before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shubin.
The hearing will be conducted as follows.
Okay.
The town staff, if necessary, will present a brief synopsis of the application based on the application or actions taken by town staff. If not, then applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of applicant's case. The applicant's staff or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the applicant if that concludes its case in chief, and states that the proponent and its witnesses will remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board, by staff, or by opponents to the appeal or application. Following the close of the applicant's case, witnesses in opposition to the applicant's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. At the close of the testimony, against the application, the presiding officer asks the applicant, is there anything else you wish to be reflected in the record? There is not going to be any town synopsis, so present your case.
Hi, I'm Shevik M. Barnhart. I'm one of the co-owners of 3B's Foods. One of the things you are doing is giving me a waiver for being too close to the church. I know that the church themselves actually sent into Santa Fe a letter stating that they are perfectly fine with us having a license. As those of you who know, we were open 1 month short of 14 years as Sheffick and Company restaurant, of which 13 of those approximately we had a beer and wine license as we've applied for now. We never had any issues with our license. We've never been cited for our license. We've always been very careful in the way that we've done business. We've always been careful to ask for IDs, etc. And I think that for most of those almost 14 years, or all of those 14 years, we've been a good part of the community that has always been something that promoted the community as well. I do know that there is an issue that will come up about the fact that we do not have our business license yet. The reason why that is true is because the construction, which was estimated to end at the end of September, at this point won't be done until the end of November. There's a variety of reasons for that. Everything from the fact that basically we have one architect and one engineer in this town. They had lots of vacations scheduled. It took a long time to get all those drawings done. Then we've had situations like Wentz Electrical, who's doing the electrical work for us. Not only did it need to be more extensive, but when they sent the engineering drawings up to Albuquerque, they made a mistake, an honest mistake. The mistake was, if they sent them as actual old-fashioned blueprints, they would have been approved already. The state put in a brand-new electronic way of putting in those drawings. When 5.5 weeks were up and they asked, why aren't we approved yet, they were told from the head of the department, quote, as told to me by Gail Simmons, that, oh, well, we're 6 weeks behind on all of those drawings because no one in our office knows how to use the electronic system yet. So those drawings have actually not been approved entirely yet. We can't get the approval from Environmental Health, which will get one of the things we need for being able to get the license from the town due to the fact that the equipment can't be installed yet, due to that and various other little things that have been happening.
Luckily, none of that is relevant to this case.
Oh, good. Somebody had called me up telling me I needed to have this done before this meeting tonight yesterday. So that's the reason why I figured I'd bring it up. I don't know if anyone has any questions about and what else I need to say, but the fact of the matter is that, beer and wine licenses, you're allowed 40% of your business to be alcohol. Our experience at Shevik & Company was our highest year in alcohol sales versus food was 23%. The other thing as well, again, is the fact that we've always done very heavy-duty staff training. We've done little things like in a liquor license, we're allowed to have a staff member on and do table service like we will be doing at the new restaurant. And they can serve for 1 month without having their certification. But we've never, ever, under any circumstances, allowed anyone to serve alcohol without that certification, because we'd rather go a little bit that way. So any questions?
The next step would actually be, is there any witnesses in support of your case?
Yes, there are 3, although one is also a co-owner. Okay. Or any order.
Do we come up as a group or individually?
Individually is fine.
Okay.
Just come to the podium.
I'm first. Hi, I'm Becky Neal Young. Thank you for hearing us. I just wanted to say that I've been a steady customer of Shevik's for years. I've witnessed them be very, very careful in how they handle alcohol distribution, and I've actually seen them card young people who were not as young as everybody thought they were, but they made sure it was very careful. They were very careful not to violate any law, and I've never seen anybody leave the premises in any condition that would prohibit them from proceeding safely home. There's always a designated driver, or they check on it to make sure. So I know the church is right around the corner, but I don't see a problem. Thank you.
Mr. Scavron, did you have a question? Did you have a comment that you needed to clarify?
Probably after the witnesses are finished testifying and before you vote. I do have a comment.
Perfect. Okay, next witness in support.
Hi, I'm Teresa North, a longtime customer of Shevik & Company Restaurant, and pretty much just what I want to say is that this business will be a great asset to this community as Shevik's last restaurant was, and will help us to maintain our foodie destination as stated by New Mexico Magazine last July. And I think that's just about it. I really would like to see this go forward. These gentlemen have waited a long time, and I hope you will grant them the waiver and the liquor license. Thank you very much.
My name is Andrew Wind Barnhart. I'm the other co-owner, and this restaurant will be an asset to the community, both because, well, okay, as it's actually going to create jobs. I've been on unemployment since Shevik & Company closed down, and finding positions in this town in food service is tricky. So we're going to add some of those. Shevik is adamant that everyone will be cross-trained, which means we'll also be adding skills to the community. Of course, alcohol will be part of it. I was trained to serve, and I'm older than I look, so at table I get to say, I'm old. Everyone looks like children to me. So may I see your ID, please?
Is there any questions from the hearing board for any of the witnesses? Mr. Scaveron?
There's been some concern expressed because the applicant does not have a business registration yet because the facility is not complete. Also, that means that there's no certificate of occupancy and the requisite inspections have not been done. I do not believe that any of those circumstances would be a bar to you approving or disapproving the transfer. I just wanted to make it clear to the applicants that once this transfer is in effect, it does not obviate the requirement for the business registration, for the certificate of occupancy, and for the inspections. I want to make sure that the applicant is aware of that. Even though the transfer may occur, you can't start using that license until you satisfy the town's ordinances.
Not an issue.
Okay.
I mean, we've always been stickless to such things.
And it does not need to be part of the motion. That's just a warning to the applicant. Thank you.
Does that conclude your case in chief?
Yes, sir.
Please remain available for further questions. I believe those were the 4 individuals who stood up, so we do not have opposition. Is there anything else you would wish to be reflected in the record?
No. So basically, we're looking forward to getting open. We're looking forward to just being able to, once again, try to be something that helps promote Silver City.
Okay. And once again, is there any questions from the hearing board?
Yes, sir.
Is the hearing board prepared to consider this application and render its decision?
Yes, sir.
How does the board decide? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question.
Yes,
To all
sir.
those people that have had restaurants here in Silver City, I'm glad that this town council has come forward and allowed them to have liquor. It makes the business good for everybody, not just the public, but for the business owners. And with that, I make a motion. I lost my paperwork. To approve of a restaurant liquor license with patio services, application number 969520, applicant's name, 3B's Food, Inc., doing business as Burgers and Brownies and Beers Oh Mine. Proposed location, 619 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061, and a waiver of a NMSA in 1978 Section 60-6B-10 for alcohol sales near a church or school.
Councilor Carter?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion as stated.
We have a motion, a second, as read into the record. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
We have a motion, a second, as read into the record. Roll call.
Councilor Kano? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Anderson? Aye. Councilor Madison? Aye.
Motion carries. This public hearing is concluded. Next on the agenda is a public hearing entitled Approval Disapproval of Ordinance Number 1242, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map for a parcel of real property addressed as 1700 Mountain View Road, Silver City, New Mexico, from the rural district to the commercial district. The applicant is the owner, Mary Ellen Marquez. The town council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of this hearing board had ex parte discussions with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communications from any party to this case?
Yes, sir.
You are all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise and come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn in, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. State your name.
I, James Marshall,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
The hearing will be conducted as follows. The town staff shall present a brief synopsis of the application based on the application or actions taken by the director, by P&Z Commission, or by town staff. Then the applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of the applicant's case, which I didn't see any, nor did I see any opposition. So I think we can actually begin. Town staff?
Thank you. Actually lost my glasses, so I cannot do the presentation over there. I won't be able to see over here. And so I'm going to try to speak loud, so let me know if I fade off. This is a application, as you know, for a rezone, and it's really a correction. We're going from a rural district to commercial district, and here's the definition that is in the land use code for a rural district. The rural district is intended to protect existing rural land uses that are characterized by low-density, single-family residential uses on large lots and agricultural uses, including livestock for personal use with guidelines of the municipal code. Limited commercial activity that is compatible with rural residences and agriculture is also permitted. And as you will see, it doesn't fit the area. The commercial district that we're going to, do you want me to read this?
If the hearing board's fine with that?
Oh, in my own words?
Yeah, in your own words, what you're moving to.
It's basically, there's been several commercial districts that have been set up, but we have not actually implemented them. So we're actually using the older commercial district to go into, and it's very fitting for the purpose, as I'll explain here in a minute, that'll fit this definition. So this is the existing property that's in question, and it is currently a restaurant. This is, I don't know if you can see it, this is the zone line, right here, the two different colors, and this is the property that's in question. So we've actually split that building into commercial and rural. So it has two separate zones under one roof. Basically the circle you see around it is the 300-foot circle for public notification. This is a picture looking to the north, and you can see the motels there at Mountain View and 180 is what is to the north. And to the northwest is more motels, all commercial. So this is basically when you make a decision, you have to have one of the findings that are listed, and I believe you have them on your ordinance. So I will not read each and every one of them, but we absolutely have to have one finding. The staff opinion was that the proposed amendment is in substantial compliance with the town's comprehensive plan, that the proposed amendment will not adversely affect the implementation of the goals and policies of the town's comprehensive plan, and the proposed amendment will not adversely impact public health, safety, general welfare, and will promote original purposes of the land use code. The proposed amendment responds to changed conditions such as changes in assumptions on capital investment, road locations, population trends, land committed to development, density, use, or further studies that have been completed since adoption of the land use code. And number 7, the proposed amendment provides additional flexibility in meeting the objectives of this land use code. The applicant Actually, you can imagine if she tries to do anything with her real estate, it's going to be a major issue for her, as well as if she were to apply for a beer and wine license for the restaurant. It would cause an issue because of the two zoning and on the one building. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Is there any questions? Councilor Bedison?
Just to clarify, did you go through the recommendations of P&Z? Was that...
Yes, that was...
That's what you read? Because there are only 3 on here.
That was the staff recommendations, and then you
Okay.
have the 3
From
from
P&Z.
P&Z.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other questions for town staff? Mr. Scabra?
The record should indicate that the applicant is not present. The record should indicate that the applicant is not present. I'm just explaining the options to you, that if the application is part of the record, in that it's equivalent to testimony, but the problem is that you can't question the application. You can't question the applicant. If you feel that you would rather, that you need to question the applicant, that the record made by the staff and the application do not comprise enough information for you to make your motion, then you can remand this action requiring the applicant to be present to answer questions. I'm not suggesting that you do that, I'm just informing you that you do have that option.
What if, after we've already sworn everybody in, the applicant comes in late?
Mayor, you have great power to serve the interests of justice.
Ms. Mackey, will you swear in the applicant?
My physical address for the Mountain
Whatever
View.
you give me, I'll take it. What is your last name?
Marcus.
Marcus, okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mary Ellen Marcus,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
Okay, just stay right there.
Sorry.
No problem whatsoever. The timing is interesting and perfect. Well, we just had a brief synopsis from town staff as to the application, which is and we just heard where that is the major body of your testimony. Would you like to add any testimony to this application?
Well, first of all, I'm very sorry for being late, and I really don't know what was going on, but it's just that I want to try to change it all to commercial since I already have an existing business there.
Okay. And is there any questions for the applicant? Does this conclude your case in chief?
Yes.
Now I have to catch up with where I'm supposed to be now. There are no witnesses in opposition. Is there anything else you'd like to have reflected in the record?
Not to my knowledge, thank you.
Perfect. Does any member of this hearing board have any further questions for any witness to this case?
No, sir.
Is the hearing board prepared to consider this application and render its decision?
Yes, sir.
How does the hearing board decide? Councilor Connor?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 1242, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map for a parcel of real property addressed as 1700 Mountain View Road, Silver City, New Mexico, from the rural district to the commercial district, as it meets the following finding. The proposed amendment is in substantial compliance with the town's comprehensive plan. The applicant is the owner, Mary Ellen Marcus.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that as stated.
We have a motion second as read into the record. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion second as read into the record. Roll call.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Benson?
Aye.
Motion carries. This public hearing is concluded. Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move for a short recess.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Amos Smith.
second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for a short recess. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in recess. I call this meeting back to order. Next on the agenda is approval, disapproval of 2 public celebration permit applications for the El Sol Soiree event to be held on November 14th, 2015, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 405 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Liquor license holder information. Number 1, Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63004 at HC 68, Box 134, Silver City, New Mexico. And number 2, Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67021 at HC 68, Box 134, Silver City, New Mexico. Teresa?
Mayor, councilors, thank you for hearing this application. My name is Teresa Dahlberding, one of the owners of Little Toad Creek Brewery and Distillery. This application is for an event sponsored by Virus Theater. It's a fundraiser event to begin raising money for the new El Sol Performing Arts Center, which is going to be a community space. The goal is to make an affordable and accessible community space for music, dance, theater, and film downtown. A project which will benefit our community and businesses downtown. So we're very excited about this. The application is to serve alcohol under the brewery license and the distillery license for that afternoon only. The event will include a tour of the theater. We have gotten an approval, a temporary permit from the fire marshal for that weekend for occupancy for El Sol to take tours through there in a very guided fashion. And then the event itself, where alcohol will be served, will be entirely contained in the building across the street, which is currently vacant. The owner, Chris Raphael, has allowed us to use his building to set up our event.
Is there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Well, this might be easy. I'll entertain a motion. Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve of 2 public celebration permits applications for the El Sol Sorry, okay. I'm Hispanic. The event to be held on November 14, 2015, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 405 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Liquor license holder information. Numero 1, Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as Little Toad Creek Distillery, number 63004 HC 68, Box 134, Silver City, New Mexico. And number 2, Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as Little Toad Creek Brewery, number 67021 HC 68, Box 134, Silver City, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second as read into the record. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
We have a motion and a second as read into the record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of request for proposal number 15/16-1P, small business energy audits. Mr. Brown.
The staff the town received four responses to the RFP for the small energy audits, and the evaluation committee has recommended, and the town staff does concur, that small business energy audits with Engineering Economics, Inc., the RFP be awarded to Engineering Economics, Inc., based on the best qualified candidate. The funds for the project are all grant funds, federal funded grant, for these small energy audits within the southwest part of the state, Grant, Hidalgo, Luna, and Catron County. So with that, you have any questions?
Any questions, Councilor Edison?
This is part of the USDA Rural Energy Efficiency Grant?
Yes.
That we received, that the town received?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Councilor Amos Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So out of the list of people who or entities that applied, there was one local and then 3 from far away, 2 from New Mexico, 1 from Georgia. I'm really curious about the feedback, especially to the local people, about what they could do to improve their proposals. Does that happen through the Community Development Department?
They can ask the purchasing department,
Department?
Then we can get them a response.
I think that'd be really helpful because, as you know, I would like to grow our own here rather than hiring consultants from outside. So.
And I agree with you. The one thing about an RFP is, unlike a bid process that's based on price, we give a preference to the 5% preference to Grant County Grant County businesses. Under this RFP, I believe they gave a veterans preference to Engineering Economics because we had to follow federal guidelines, and they did have the veterans preference, so they did get a few extra points because of that.
That's very helpful. Thank you, sir.
Is there any other questions? I'll entertain the motion. Councilor Edison.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the request for proposal number 15/16-1P small business energy audits per staff recommendation to award the RFP to Engineering Economics Incorporated.
Councilor Amos Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will second that motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second as read into the record. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion and a second as read into the record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of the disposal of fixed assets. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, the staff is requesting permission to dispose of these assets that are on our fixed asset inventory. Normally, these wouldn't be on the fixed asset inventory, but they are very old. Back when the cutoff line was 1,000, now it's 5,000. It has to be a 5,000 minimum value. So we're just trying to get this off of the inventory, and they're probably not even in the buildings anymore, but they're on our list.
That's interesting because, intuitively, I'm wondering why we even have this on our agenda, but I figured there was a technical reason. Councilor Edison?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the disposal of said fixed assets as listed. Excuse me.
Counselor Amos Smith?
Better than me do it.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion to dispose of this fixed assets, including the fax machines, yes.
We have a motion and second as read into the record, with great effort. Is there any further discussion? We have a motion and second as read in the record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is discussion and vote on whether to change or cancel the regular council meeting dates scheduled for November 24th, 2015 and December 22nd, 2015. Mr. Brown, is there any pertinent business that you're aware of or need to see happen on those dates?
No, there isn't. The things that are going to be coming up can be handled in the first meeting of either month. I'm trying to schedule that they're putting on those. There's nothing pressing that has to be, you have to have a second meeting.
Any of you have a burning desire to be here on those days?
No, sir.
I won't be gone.
Well, then I will entertain a motion. Counselor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move to cancel the regular town council meeting dates scheduled for November 24th, 2015 and December 22nd, 2015.
Mr. Mayor.
Counselor Amos Smith.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
We have a motion, a second, to cancel the regular council meeting date scheduled for November 24th, 2015 and December 22nd, 2015. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
We have a motion, a second, as read into the record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to adjourn.
And second the motion.
We have a motion, a second, for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.